A few years ago, I just got home from work and decided to look for some girl on Tinder to go out that night. It was 7 p.m. on a Friday, so I matched with a girl who was mentioning things related to smoking weed in the profile description. So I decided to start a conversation with her about that. After a few minutes talking, she told me that she really liked to smoke weed and that she was without any of it. As she lived near to my neighborhood, I decided to call her out that night to eat something, drink some beers, and later smoke some weed in my car. She accepted and sent me her WhatsApp number and the location where she was. It was like 3 kilometers away from my home. So I took a shower, changed my clothes, got in the car, put her location on the GPS, and went toward her. It took a while to find her on the street, but after a few attempts, I found her talking to a friend on the sidewalk. I honked. She recognized me and then entered the car. After she got in the car, I tried to start a conversation with her, and strangely, she didn't say anything at all. I was basically talking alone all the time. She rarely said okay, and sometimes agreed, shaking her head, and that's all. At the moment, I thought, well, she must be shy, no problem, and I took her to a snack bar. I tried to talk with her while we were eating, and she didn't say anything. She just ate, and nothing more. Then I finally gave up and stopped talking also. So after eating some snacks and drinking some beers, in absolute silence, I invited her to smoke a joint in my car. She said okay, and we went to a deserted street where I parked my car. After that, I sat with her in the back seat, and we smoked together. At the time, I thought, I hope this will make her get more relaxed, and maybe she start talking a bit. After some puffs, she looked more relaxed, but still quiet, and we eventually kissed each other, and we had sex in the car. The weird part is, while we were having sex, she started behaving really weird, and started scaring me a bit, like looking me directly in the eyes, with a weird, angry expression, as if she was not the same person anymore. When that happened, I just thought she was just high or something, and didn't care much, because I was also high. Then after that, I just left her at the same point where I found her. I think her house was in that street. And after that, I went home. The next day, when I was sober, I was thinking about her facial expression while we were in the car, and found it all that very strange. She grabbed my head with both hands and was staring me in the eyes with a bizarre expression of anger. Her eyes were really wide open, and her mouth was like she was kinda smiling. Anyway, I decided to follow her on social media, Instagram and Facebook, to know more about her. And most of her posts were really random and weird stuff. Like for example, a lot of pictures of cardboard sheets with random phrases written in really bad English. We are from Brazil, and here we only speak Portuguese. Like for example, I love. Where you? Heart our God. Us kill him. Where will us? We continue. Each sheet full of random stuff like that. Then, one day, she started talking a lot of stuff about her personal life on Instagram stories. That she had a baby that she loved. That she was enjoying to be again in Umbanda, an African religion that is quite common here in Brazil. That she was happy to be talking again with her grandmother, who was already dead. And then, she talked something that made me understand everything that happened that night in my car. She said that whenever she was high, she got possessed by the spirit of her grandma, and that she really enjoys that. So I connected the dots, and I realized that she probably was under the influence of her grandma that night when I met her. After that, she started posting pics of her face on Instagram that looked really scary, like if she was possessed by a spirit or something. In one of the pictures, her jaw was really wide open, as if it was broken, and her eyes were all white. It sent chills under my spine when I saw that. Well, after seeing all of that stuff, I just decided to unfollow her on all social media and block her number, so she cannot contact me anymore. I'm not sure if she was just inventing all that stuff, but to be honest, I'm not really interested to contact her again and find out the truth. I'm a 19-year-old college student, and earlier this past year, I decided to create a Grindr profile because why the hell not? I'm single, and I may as well be a dumb college student while I'm a dumb college student. My friends and I were studying late one night in their dorm room, like always. All of my close friends lived together in the dorm, so their lounge was the primary hangout spot. It was a little after midnight and I went on Grindr. At this point, I had been on the app for about 2 months and had gone on a fair amount of dates by this point. When I opened the app, I had received a message from a guy. I don't remember his name, so I'll just continue to refer to him as the guy. I clicked on his profile, and it was a pretty cute guy. He had a shirtless picture, which is common, and he was attractive enough for me to get more information on him. His caption read, "In town for work." I read his bio, and he explained that he was in town for work, that he was staying at a nearby hotel, and was able to host visitors there. I replied to his message, and began the typical Grindr talk. How are you? What are you into? Can you host, etc.? After talking for about a half hour or so and exchanging pictures, we agreed to meet. I must say that I did not get any indication that this guy was a catfish, or I was talking to someone who wasn't who they said they were. It's usually pretty obvious when someone isn't who they say they are. That's what I told myself at least. Whenever I decide to meet up with a guy, I always tell one of my friends, and then share my location with them. I do this, and then I head out. The hotel was about 10 minutes away from my university. As I was driving there, the guy messaged me and asked, "Hey, so my business partner might come back soon. Would it be cool if we did stuff in your car?" Not an unusual request to engage in car play, but I did start to be a bit suspicious. Why would his business partner be out this late? Yet again, here I was out this late, so I brushed it off and continued making my way to the hotel. I arrived to the hotel, and I would say it was about 1 a.m. at this point. I looked at my phone again, and I had received another message from the guy. He said, "Pull around to the back of the hotel." I drove into the parking lot and made my way to the back of the hotel, past the pool. This is when things started to get weird. As I pulled into the back of this hotel parking lot, I noticed a guy in a red hoodie in between some cars, assuming it was the guy I had been messaging. I pulled into one of the spots underneath a light post, about 20 feet in front of a dumpster that sat in the corner of the parking lot. By this point, the guy in the red hoodie had gone out of sight. I instinctually clicked on the button to lock my doors. I checked the app and received another message from the guy that said, "Pull back next to the dumpster." I assumed that since I was underneath the light, he was worried that we'd be caught if a guest or hotel staff saw us. At this point, I started to get a bit sketched out, but I figured that maybe my anxiety was just getting the best of me. I put my car into reverse and pulled back next to the dumpster and put my car in park. At this point, I'm scanning the parking lot for this guy and don't see anyone. No sight of the guy in the red hoodie either. I feel my heart rate suddenly increase and I begin getting cold sweats. Maybe I shouldn't have driven out here, I remember thinking to myself. Then I checked the app again and I received another message from the guy. "Turn your car off and get into the back seat." Okay. It is at this point that my fight or flight response kicked in, because without thinking, I immediately turned my car on and hauled ass out of there. I sped out of that parking lot as fast as my poor 04 car could go. I didn't even stop to check for incoming traffic when I pulled out of the parking lot and onto the main road. I drove about 2 miles up the road away from the hotel and pulled into a McDonald's parking lot. At this point, I'm trembling, but I'm thinking maybe I just overreacted. I checked the app again to see if the guy messaged me anything. I was expecting a "what the fuck?" and the messages from the guy were gone. I'm assuming he blocked me, which leads me to believe that whatever he had planned was not good at all. Was he trying to jump me, steal my car, or maybe something worse? Needless to say, I deleted the app after this incident. To everyone who uses any sort of dating app, be careful who you meet, where you meet, and just take precautions. Our parents told us never to talk to strangers for a reason.